Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Stuart Davis. It's Wednesday, and we are going to do some more Bible reading tonight. But first, a brief introduction. As I said, my name is Stuart Davis. I'm a flawed man of God. I am a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk Christianity, give you a glimpse, some insight, a look into the mind of what I consider myself to be, and that is an average Christian, um, just going through daily life and giving my thoughts, feelings, and takes on the things that come across. Do Bible readings, give my impressions on what I'm reading, and what I extract out of that. I'm a non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just living in the Word, trying to take out as much of it as I can. Walk a life closer to Christ each and every day. Some days I'm closer. Some days I'm further away. Have good days. Have days where I screw up. And if you are looking to establish a relationship with Christ, if that's something you're interested in, if you are looking for more information, welcome to the show. It's the main reason I started this channel in the first place, to give you some place to go where you're not pressured necessarily to go into a church, meet people, ask questions that you might think are uncomfortable. Just go out there and be like, what's this life all about? What is this faith all about? Is this a place where everybody's uptight, judgmental, weird, and cultish? No, dude, we are just like you folks. But we try to set ourselves apart in the way that we do believe that Jesus Christ is God, came down to this earth, lived a perfect life, and was and died for our sins as a sacrifice, and resurrected 3 days later. Something that we just got finished celebrating with Easter. But this is our beliefs. These are our core beliefs. These are the fundamentals for life and living. And that's who we are. If that's what you're curious about and that's what you're learning more, there is truth in that. And you can get something from me. That's great. But again, I encourage people to go to church. This is more of a jumping off point, if you could, or a starting point, if that's what you're searching for. If you are just tuning in because you want to listen to Christian discussion or be part of the conversation, again, welcome. Like I said, this channel is all about Christianity and discussing those topics that surround it and worldly topics and how they impact Christians as they are. So we are going to get back into Deuteronomy tonight. First off, little disclaimer. Last night was a show with a lot of takes, but it wasn't as polished as me and Eric generally do. Part of that is because of scheduling conflicts, we haven't been able to get together on our normal stream. We had things that we wanted to talk about that we still tried to address last night, but it didn't fit. It didn't roll very well because we just didn't have our normal momentum. And a lot of the stuff that we were trying to talk about was either a couple of weeks old and probably out of people's attention, or brand new because of what is being talked about with Supreme Court right now. And we haven't had as much time to really flesh out our thoughts on everything that's going on. You have initial impressions and whatnot, and we go from there. Now, we will, but again, that will change as we get back into our normal routine, and we will bring you better product with better reactions. But I still encourage you to go back and watch and comment on where you think we got it right and where you think we got it wrong, because we do get things right and we do get things wrong. So, but tonight's all about the Bible, folks, and it has been a great read through. And my impressions from Deuteronomy are that I don't know why I haven't paid more attention to this book of the Bible than I have in the past. It has been a very powerful read so far, and we are only 8 chapters in. We're going to be starting chapter 9 tonight, talking about Moses basically giving his last speech, his last motivational. This is what every child needs to learn about being a man speech to the Israelites before sending them off with Joshua to the promised land. He's been in the middle of this, and we've, like I said, in the previous readings that we've done, it has been quite a journey for him. Not just the physical journey, but the spiritual or the maturity of him from being a very unsure person, a self-conscious person that Moses really started out as when God called to him, to where we're at now, where he's still a little awkward, but having been blessed with doing some things that you and I could only dream of. Imagine going up on Mount Sinai and just having fellowship with God at that level. God telling you things about what He wants to do and what He intends and how He's going to fulfill the covenant, and what those conversations must have been like. Then the disappointment of coming down and seeing that your brothers and sisters of the Israelites just completely making a mockery of all the things God had done for them, and the faithlessness that they showed, and the anger that it was. And we are going to be revisiting that a little bit tonight, because as somebody on Twitter brought up, it is good for us not to get too tied up with other people's failings, or too impressed with ourselves over what we do that's right. But also remember that we do have failings. Remember what they are. Be honest about them. That doesn't mean you need to announce it to the world. You don't need to list your whole litany of failure, sins, and problems to the world. But be open about the struggles that you have. I've had I will be open enough to say that I've made mistakes in my life that I'm not proud of, and that I have regrets about making choices that I've made. And this is somebody speaking to you as somebody who's been a Christian all my life. I should know better, right? But I have done things that have been incredibly stupid, incredibly sinful, and that I'm not proud of, and very remorseful for. And then I'll tell you about some of those things I'll keep private, and other of those things I'll be pretty open and honest about. And because that's part of showing people that you're not judgmental. I think is the fact that, hey, we can talk about what we read in the Bible that's sinful, talk about it and kind of relate it to ourselves, and how we struggle with something or how we don't struggle with something. When people see that, they say like, okay, well, there's somebody who's comfortable with what enough about what they're going through that they can talk about it. So that generally will mean that they are comfortable enough to hear me talk about the things that I struggle with. And that communication is what is great about a good small group, a good community, a good congregation of Christians coming together. Is when you can share your struggles, share your triumphs, share your loves, share your fears, share all that stuff, help each other, build each other up. We're a family. That's how we should act. A somewhat functional, good, wholesome family. That's not always the case, unfortunately. But one where when people show up to church and they understand that it's God's house, they understand they need to act right. And when they leave, they come out with a feeling that I need to take this energy, I need to take this momentum that I've been given, this alignment that I've been given, and impact the world as much as I can with it. Because who knows what actions you may do, what words you may say that can bring somebody to this faith, get them to understand what God is all about and what imperfect way we can do it. So, having said that and run my mouth, let's get into the word. And we are going to do that now. So, where were we at beforehand? It's been a few days. We were talking about don't forget the Lord, and you're not forgetting the Lord like the Israelites have. Again, Moses is going through basically what's gone through Exodus, a little bit of Leviticus. We've rehashed the 10 Commandments, God setting up and establishing the law, establishing the society, how we should all establish the society so that it can become a shining example of what God expects out of us. And that God knows that this isn't, that Israel is going to really struggle with this. And so does Moses, I think. And I think that anybody who's being honest with themselves and being a attentive observer can tell that the Israelites are just not mature enough in their faith to really heed that message. And while I'm very critical of the Israelites because they have God's presence right there, there is no doubt it requires very little faith to understand and see very tangible, real, in your face miracles happening in front of you, things that we don't really get a whole lot of here in today's day. Um, that they get them and they kind of take it for granted. And it kind of ticks me off because I would love something like that to really just reinforce things, to reinforce that faith in God, to be like, yeah, just feel that touch of God onto the world, right, and into your world. It happens every once in a while, but they get it in such a overt way that it's incredible, and it still doesn't work with them in many cases. And that's what tonight's going to be real about. So we'll get into it presently. Chapter 9, Deuteronomy chapter 9. Not because of Israel's righteousness. Hear, Israel, you are now about to cross the Jordan to go in and dispossess nations greater and stronger than you, with large cities that have walls up to the sky. The people are strong and tall, Anakites. You know about them and have heard it said, who can stand up against the Anakites? But be assured today that the Lord your God is the one who goes across ahead of you like a devouring fire. He will destroy them. He will subdue them before you, and you will drive them out and annihilate them quickly, as the Lord has promised you. After the Lord your God has driven them out before you, do not say to yourself, the Lord has brought me here to take possession of his lands because of my righteousness. They should have capitalized the my part for emphasis. No, it is on account of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord is going to drive them out before you. It is not because of your righteousness or your integrity that you are going to go in, or that you are going in to take possession of their land, but on account of the wickedness of these nations. The Lord your God will drive them out before you to accomplish what he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand then that it is not because of your righteousness that the Lord your God is giving you this good land to possess, for you are a stiff-necked people. All right, so Moses is getting a little blunt here, and he's going to remind them here in a moment, but let's stop there for a second. So Moses looks like he's getting a little blunt here. He's like, look, you're getting ready to go into this land, the promised land, and you're going to drive out these very powerful people, this mighty people that they have a reputation for being strong, for having very big, strong, big fortifications, all this other stuff. God's going to deliver this to you. He's kicking them out of this land. But once he does that, and once you take possession of that, don't go, oh, well, we live in Israel now because of, how great we are, because God thinks we're awesome people, because we're righteous, because we follow the rules. No. It's not because of that. Those people are losing their lands because they screwed up and they pissed God off mightily with doing things like blood, human sacrifices, worshiping other gods, things like that. Absolute depravity from these folks. God's like, get them out of here. Just get them out of here. Israelites, you get to go in. And it's not because you're righteous. It's because that I have to fulfill a promise that I made with your great ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If I don't owe you this land. I don't owe you a damn thing. This is what he's reminding. I don't owe you a damn thing. I owe you nothing. But because of the faithfulness and the love that I received from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, from the example that Abraham and Isaac set. And I guess when we talk about Jacob's greatness, it's really his faithfulness and his ability to listen to God when God talks to him. But because of what they showed, this is the reward. And this is what I promised them for following me. And now you are going to reap the benefits of their actions. So don't go off getting all high and mighty. Don't do that. They are going to anyway. But no, Part of me thinks that you need to understand you don't deserve the promised land. And why? We see God with his favorite description for the Israelites. You are a stiff-necked people. That is the truth. That is the truth in the Old Testament. It's truth to us in many ways as Christians as well. Again, I was talking about in my opening about, you don't always get a good church. You don't always get people at their best. We can be very high-handed. We can be very easy to dismiss our own failings or the failings of our friends around us because we don't want to be critical. We don't want to break each other down, but at the same time, and a lack of keeping accountability of ourselves puts us right in there in the same category as the Israelites. How does it not? How does it not do the same thing there? So that's on us. We're no different in that aspect from the Israelites. We are stiff-necked people. We continue to commit the same sins over and over and again, and show that we lack faith in certain things we do every day. Like me driving down Interstate 95, trying to keep my composure when somebody's tailgating me or somebody is used to change his lanes without using the signal. Right? Use the signal. If you're going to take the lane, use your daggone manners, right? I'm getting better about this. I had a good friend of mine. He put something, and this is a little off topic, but a good friend of mine put something in a very good perspective for me. This was in Sunday school one day, and this is a guy who's overcome a great deal of issues, we'll say. And he talks now. He is calm, composed, humble. He is a great example of somebody who is accepted the fact that they can be better and tries their best to be better and is a great brother in Christ. But he said, look, when I'm driving around, I try to, and somebody does something like they cut me off or whatever, I try to imagine before I go, telling them they're number one. I try to remember, is that, one of my friend's moms? Is that somebody I go to church with? Is this somebody I care about? And not necessarily from the point of view that I care about what they think about me. It's how would I feel if somebody was rude or hateful or angry at them. I know them to be good people, and we make mistakes. He said, I think about that when I drive. It helps me. It has helped me deal with things, and I took that to heart. I thought that was a good thing to take, a good approach and a good perspective in life, for life in general. And I think that that's part of what makes him such a good dude. I think he applies that in a lot of cases. He puts himself into people's shoes, and I think that it's just something I admire a lot about it. And so I've taken that to heart when I start seeing myself starting to get angry with somebody on the road, mumbling under my breath, whatever. I try to imagine, it's like, okay, maybe that could be somebody I like. That could be somebody that I would normally just give a pass to. How should I treat them? Anyway, back on topic. Back into Deuteronomy. The golden calf. The golden calf. Remember this, and never forget how you aroused the anger of the Lord your God in the wilderness. From the day you left Egypt until you arrived here, you have been rebellious against the Lord. Amen. At Horeb, you aroused the Lord's wrath so that he was angry enough to destroy you. When I went up on the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant that the Lord had made with you, I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I ate no bread and drank no water. The Lord gave me 2 stone tablets inscribed by the finger of God. On them were all the commandments the Lord proclaimed to you on the mountain out of the fire on the day of the assembly. I had 40 days and 40 nights, no water, no bread. Sound familiar? The only thing sustaining me was the company of the Lord. At the end of 40 days and 40 nights, the Lord gave me the 2 stone tablets, the tablets of the covenant. Then the Lord told me, go down from here at once, because your people, whom you brought out of Egypt, have become corrupt. They have turned away quickly from what I commanded them and have made an idol for themselves, which was just a stupid scenario to begin with on the Israelites' part. Just boneheaded, absolute boneheaded, faithless. Just how do you reconcile that? Of course, he was angry enough to wipe you out. And the Lord said to me, I have seen this people, and they are a stiff-necked people indeed. Let me alone, so that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make you into a nation stronger and more numerous than they. So I turned and went down from the mountain while it was ablaze with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my hands. When I looked, I saw that you had sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. You had turned aside quickly from the way that the Lord had commanded you. So I took the stone tablets and threw them out of my hands, breaking them into pieces before your eyes. Mind you, this was something given to him by God as a covenant to the people, the Israelites. And God was angry, and Moses was angry enough that he said, this gift, this precious gift from God, they don't deserve this. I would rather it be broken than be put in the hands of these people. And understandable righteous fury. So I turned and went down from the mountain while it was ablaze with fire. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I already read that spot. Sorry. 18. Then once again, I fell prostrate before the Lord for 40 days and 40 nights. I ate no bread and drank no water, because all the sin you have committed, doing what was evil in the Lord's sight, and so arousing his anger, I feared the anger and wrath of the Lord, for he was angry enough with you to destroy you. But again, the Lord listened to me when the Lord was angry enough with Aaron to destroy him. But at that time I prayed for Aaron too. I took that sinful thing of yours, the calf you had made, and burned it in the fire. Then I crushed it and ground it into powder as fine as dust, and threw the dust into a stream that flowed down from the mountain. He doesn't mention this. He killed a lot of people that night too, who were absolutely out of their mind, like some sort of stupid Middle Eastern Burning Man. Pagan worship, false idols, all that stuff. While Moses is up there starving, he's hangry, by the way, when he gets down here, starving and thirsty, but not even caring because he's in the presence of the Lord, doing things and discussing and hashing out that future and listening, communing with God. And he comes down and he's like, look, this is this great thing. And now look at you idiots out there taking all that God has given you and just throwing it away. Just complete, total disrespect. And so he went back up there. He went back up there to help out, or to calm God, because God, like I said, he's like a parent, right? He's angry. Man, I could just kill you right now. I could just wring your neck. I could just do one of these things that you say when your kid does something really dumb. You get a little angry, get a little heated. I'm not saying that you've thought about killing your kids. I know some parents have thought about eating their young, but I'm not saying that tongue in cheek. But there are times where our kids are going to disappoint us, and nobody is more disappointed than God, and nobody is more disappointing than us. But there's also no one more full of grace than God. So while he was angry, at the same time, that passion of his that burns as much as it does, it's because of how much he loves us. Deep passion will breed deep anger and deep love. And like I said, if you're a parent, you understand that. You should. And if you don't, you need to pray for yourself. You also made the Lord angry at Taberah, at Massa, and at Kibroth Hattava. And when the Lord sent you out from Kadesh Barnea, he said, go up and take possession of the land I have given you. But you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God. You did not trust or obey him. You've been rebellious against the Lord ever since I have known you. I lay prostrate before the Lord those 40 days and 40 nights because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed to the Lord and said, Sovereign Lord, do not destroy your people, your own inheritance that you redeemed by your great power and brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Overlook the stubbornness of this people, their wickedness, and their sin. Otherwise, the country from which you brought us will say, because the Lord was not able to take them into the land he had promised them, because he hated them, he brought them out to put them to death in the wilderness. But they are your people, your inheritance that you brought out by your great power and your outstretched arm. He's right. And look, this is Moses being the big brother, talking to God and saying, hey, look, I get it. My siblings here, they're screwing around, but you love us. Remember, don't forget how much you love us. And that's what God wants to see. That's God showing Moses that he's got what it takes to lead these people, as stupid as they are. Because if he was right there behind them, telling God, yep, smash them into bits, teeny tiny bits. And yeah, you can start over with me. Maybe Moses isn't the right person for the job, but God shows Moses in this instance. If you can show enough love and grace that when they do something this overtly stupid and disrespectful, you've got enough capacity of love to deal with all the more shenanigans that are coming in, that are in store for you. Tablets like the first ones, chapter 10. At that time, the Lord said to me, chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first one and come up to me on the mountain. Also make a wooden ark. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Then you are to put them in the ark. So I made the ark out of acacia wood and chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first one. And I went up on the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hands. The Lord wrote on these tablets what he had written before, the 10 commandments he had proclaimed to you on the mountain out of the fire on the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them to me. Then I came back down on the mountain and put the tablets in the ark I had made, as the Lord commanded me, and they are there now. The Israelites traveled from the wells of Bene Jaakan to Mosera. There Aaron died and was buried, and Eleazar his son succeeded him as a priest, or as priest, because he's the priest. From there they traveled to Gudgoda and on to Jotbatha. I was liking Deuteronomy a whole lot before they started throwing these stupid word names at me. Gudgoda and on to Jotbatha, a land that streams with water. At that time, the Lord set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant before the Lord, to stand before the Lord to minister and pronounce his blessings in his name, as they still do today. That is why the Levites have no share or inheritance among their fellow Israelites. The Lord is their inheritance, as the Lord your God told them. Now, I had stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, as I did the first time, and the Lord listened to me at this time also. It was not his will to destroy you. Key reminder there. So we think earlier, it's very easy to think that God is going to destroy the Israelites. It's not his will. He did not want to. Certainly we deserved it, but again, love gives you pause when something upsets you, and things that you love with great passion, or things that will anger you that much, and I guess I don't want to say tempt, but will encourage you to take action. But God is all powerful, and He knows how to keep His emotions in check, as great as they are. You think about the size of emotions that you feel when you're in an emotional basket case. Think of, I don't know, when you're 16 or 20 and you're going through your blue period, and you, oh no, and you're so morose and whatever, dark and brooding. No, God's emotions are much deeper than that. Not in that weird My Chemical Romance sense either, in a cool way. Like I have righteous fury and anger, or I have deep, powerful love that you know can't possibly understand or comprehend. The closest you can get is watching Aslan die in Narnia. So, so it was not his will to destroy you. Go, the Lord said to me, and lead the people on their way, so that they may enter and possess the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Because, hey, God's nothing if not a man of his word. Of course, he's everything. So, fear the Lord. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to observe the Lord's commandments and decrees that I am giving you today for your own good? Yes. Almost, you should have ended that with a period, and because that's rhetorical, right? To the Lord your God belong. Maybe that's a translation error. To the Lord your God belong to the heavens, even the highest heavens, the earth and everything in it. Yet the Lord set his affection on your ancestors and loved them, and he chose you, their descendants, above all the nations as it is today. Circumcise your hearts, therefore, and do not be stiff-necked any longer. For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality and accepts no bribes. He defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. And you are to love those who are foreigners, for you yourselves were foreigners in Egypt. Fear the Lord your God and serve him. Hold fast to him and take your oaths in his name. He is the one you praise. He is your God, who performed for you those great and awesome wonders you saw with your own eyes. Your ancestors who went down into Egypt were 70 in all. And now the Lord your God has made you as numerous as the stars in the sky, as he told Abraham. But here I want to go back, and this is what I'll leave y'all with tonight at the end of our reading. The great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality and accepts no bribes. He defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. That's the Gentiles, folks. That's what will eventually become the Gentiles, and that is God. That is foreshadowing from Moses that Christ is coming for the rest of us and to offer us salvation. Because it looks, if you listen closely to what we see here in Deuteronomy, when he's talking about the other nations, he's not. He says specifically, you Israelites aren't getting this place because you're righteous. You're getting this because the other places, these other nations, these other people have become so disgusting to me that they have to be kicked out. They need to be eradicated. So that shows you that there, at one point, there was a good place in there in God's heart for these folks, but they were so corrupt, so degenerate, so hateful and faithless that they had to be removed. So, but there it is, right there for you. More proof, if you're looking for it, that this is why Christ came down, not as just a Messiah for the Israelites, for the Hebrews, for the Jews, whatever you want to call them in this case. He came down here as a Messiah for all of us. He didn't come down here to fight something as stupid as a human enemy. He came out here to fight to free us from sin. So, that said, folks, I'll probably stream tomorrow night. That's my plan. I owe a buddy of mine meeting up with him for dinner and catching up and talking with him. And I've been remiss in doing it because I've got to look. Summertime is a difficult and busy schedule, folks. And I try to do this early in the kind of midway through the evening because I think it's a good time to stream. But that also means that there are other things. Life gets in the way, right? I've got my own small group. I've got my own people here in my community, in my small community. I need to talk with people who can keep me in check and for me to check in on them. So, plus I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas to run past him. So I'm probably going to stream tomorrow night, but don't be surprised if I don't. And if I don't, I'll try to stream on Friday, but Friday's not good for me right this time of year, just because of my kids' sports activities. So, you guys, regardless of whether I'm here or I'm not here, maybe I never stream another day, I would get hit by a truck when I leave here. Um, try to take what's in the Bible to heart. It's not a book of rules. It's not this gloomy, fire and brimstone tome for you to feel guilty for yourself. It's hope. It's redemption. It's humbling. It is humbling in many respects, and that is a very good point. It's a way for you to hold yourself accountable. At the end of the story, but at the end of the day, what you get out of the Bible is a tale of redemption for you, for me, for the entire world, if we're willing to put ourselves in the right spot. So, you guys, no comments tonight. Nobody commenting in the comment bar. That's okay. I can do this myself. Anyway, you guys have a great, grand old evening. Good night, and God bless.